he comes out and references the attack from last year. It's like, okay, we're just gonna get everything out on the table to try and this was basically every loose end as we're moving forward with this story. You attacked me at the height of my diverticulitis, but I had already forgiven you. It's like I wish we had known that. That's how a wrestling feud typically works. You forgive in private. I came back to AEW not for revenge, but for my legacy. And allow me to tell a brief story. And Kenny Omega goes to explain that he once had a friend in high school who had 2 Shih Tzu dogs. And these 2 Shih Tzus often shit on the floor. And this led to a chant of Dookie. I'm not exaggerating anywhere here. I didn't know where in God's name this was going. But after this very long story, he explained that after all of this Dookie piled up, he finally had to tell his friend, maybe we should go to my house instead. And that's you, the Young Bucks.
Yeah, they're the Shih Tzus.
Yes.
Shitting in a home. Yeah.
There was definitely a lot of shit to clean up over this last year. And then do you have anything to add about the Dookie?
No, not really. It was a bit of a strange promo. It got people to laugh. I don't know if that was Kenny's like prime intent here. Like, did he want to come out here to do a stand-up routine, or was he actually trying to make us laugh and also trying to make a point? I mean, no, it's not going to win promo of the year, but no, I mean, it was. I thought it was fine. Like, okay. I didn't hate it.
Well, then he brings up the shredding of the documents. It's like, oh yes, of course, the shredding of the documents. Yeah. We all know what you were doing. I was like, no, none of us know what he was doing. That was completely left open-ended. Please tell us. Right. Those were all the receipts for everything you had spent money on. You almost killed the company I gave my life and soul to. And after, he suggests, why not we just fight? So as he makes his way to the ring, out comes Okada, out comes Swerve, and Swerve comes through the crowd, and he's got a chair as Okada and the Bucks take off. So apparently they are back aligned together, and Omega gives a fist bump to Swerve before he leaves. And before we get to Swerve's promo, I just thought this was... They wanted to basically end all of this past stuff that we were maybe at one point going to pay off that we really have no desire to at this point. It was just, let's just start with a clean slate. But my God, could we have not been any less creative in how we did this? It just felt like, yeah, we set up all this stuff. We're not going any further. I did not enjoy this. I guess it's over, and that's
well,
it.
By we had set it up. What are you exactly referring to? The Kenny Bucks feud, or the documents, and what else? What are you talking about?
I mean, in this whole thing, he said both that he forgave the Bucks, but then he wants to fight the Bucks. So I didn't even know what the message was at the end of all of this.
I guess he forgave them for the diverticulitis attack, but does not forgive them for their ongoing sort of decision to get involved, possibly now with the Death Riders. So that wasn't really extinguished. The feud is still on. We could still say that Kenny's still in some form seeking revenge for the Bucks through their attack. The whole like tearing of the documents thing, I'm now at this point seeing this result. I'm pretty convinced that was only meant to be a sight gag, and I don't think it was ever supposed to be something we were supposed to look into. I thought it was.
So why even bring it up here?
Well, because there are people that are going to ask, like, what happened to the documents? Like, there are people that like you and I who would probably ask those things. Okay. Frankly, well, I think it was a bad sight gag to just do. Period, because wrestling fans are going to ask questions. I'm not saying any of that was good. I'm just saying I don't think this is extinguished. Clearly, they're leading to something involving Kenny and Swerve. It looks like maybe taking on this version of the Elite with Kazuchika Okada. I enjoyed the star power in this. Like for the first time, I think in quite a while, like it feels like we're getting Kenny and the Bucks fully healthy and fully active. Now we're mixing in a Kazuchika Okada and a Swerve. So it feels like AEW has like a lot of big players that can interact with each other right now. I appreciated that. I hate the Bucks as these characters. When they came back, what added to, I think, my displeasure with the finish of Dynasty was not just the fact that it was a screwy finish, it was the fact that we were getting this version of the Bucks again, which, man, if there's something I dislike more than the Death Riders, and I think the audience dislikes more than the Death Riders, it's the EVP Young Bucks.
The Succession Bucks.
Oh man, and like just getting the characters again on TV is to me like more of a turnoff than something that would get me to turn on the TV. And just knowing that we're going to have to withstand this a little bit longer as we get to a potential Hangman and Swerve program with the two of them. I dislike that. I dislike the sort of like tone of their heel promos. They're never at all menacing. They do humor well. It's why I love BT so much. But when they're kind of doing it in this sort of like cartoonish villain type of way, I don't think it meshes well with like the likes of Swerve or Paige at all, who are like two of the more serious, characters that you've got. And Kenny's promo wasn't a great serious promo either, but because he's Kenny, like that's not my main draw, when I'm watching him. So I didn't bother me as much.
Yeah, I just felt in the midst of like I'm listening to this Dookie promo. It's like the idea is like we're dangling like Omega with Hangman in this whole thing with the Bucks. I was like, this was one of the greatest matches in AEW history, and they are literally talking me out of interest in this whole thing with this. So by the end of it, I don't disagree that I feel like, yeah, they are not ending this with Kenny and the Bucks, and with Swerve and obviously Hangman attached to all of this by extension as well. Like you are creating this whole dynamic, but and the Death Riders as well. Like this Death Riders angle is just growing and growing now, and it's like this multi-pronged attack now.
Yeah, let's remember we're coming up to Anarchy in the Arena and Blood and Guts season, so what combination of all of these guys will make for some of those interactions?
Yeah, this very well could be that at Double or Nothing.
It's WrestleMania month on the Post Wrestling Cafe, and we are going to have wall-to-wall coverage of the events from Las Vegas beginning Thursday, April 17th. We're going to be doing daily shows on the Post Wrestling Cafe featuring myself, John Cena, and many more of the Post Wrestling staff. Plus, this month, it is 2 editions of Rewind Away as we cover SummerSlam 1997 and a retrospective of Jumbo Tsuruta. All that, plus coverage of New Japan's Sakura Genesis, Windy City Riot, Collision Course, and of course, Daredevil Born Again on MCU Later. PostWrestlingCafe.com, $6 gets you in the door.